stuck in my imagination. A world, characters, and scenarios that keep me up at night. It's all written, at least in my head. A story I have to tell before I'm dead. I have a tale to tell, a story that haunts my soul. Ink and paper written in the night, sleepless moments, wasted thoughts. The words are there, but out of reach. I continue to write, to type, to think, to get it all out, bringing life to a world of my dreams. Writing the greatest novel ever told, a story that never lets me rest or sleep. I think about it night and day, and I know I must finish before I die. I've written the words so many times, but they're only in my head. Stuck in my mind, a playlist for all. It's time to get them on the page, no longer ephemeral. The written word, a physical presence born from my soul. It burns within my thoughts every day. A tale, a story that I have to write. I have a story I want to tell, the greatest novel I've ever written. Time is fading, moments are almost gone.
I have to finish before my time is done.
I write in silence,
just for me.
in the darkness I type away alone. No one sees me, no one cares, but I will finish, I will, I must. Writing the greatest novel ever told, a story that never lets me rest or sleep. I think about it night and day, and I know I must finish before I die. The story is almost finished. I have songs and scenarios that are ready to write. I daydream and hope that it finally sees the light of day. Time is running out, tick-tock, almost done. Eventually, hopefully, it matters one day.
They see you even in the dark. They fly through the night, listening to your heart's desire. No emotions or feelings, empty eyes devoid of light. Aliens that wander the galaxy, reapers of time and space.
They are the dolls of Ithalak, a planet in the darkest of space. They are the dolls that lack nightmares that obliterate, eviscerate, terminate. The mystery professor's greatest enemy, creatures from the planet scary. Oh, a world of night and despair, where galaxies go to perish
And the light fades to black.
They destroyed the professor's people, obliterated the planet Malivray, eviscerated the moment monarchs, terminated them all in the moment war.
On the edge of space, quiet and alone,
Into the endless abyss they feed on dying wishes.
They are the dolls of Ithalat, a planet in the darkest of space. They are the dolls that lack
Nightmares that obliterate, eviscerate, terminate.
Thank you for joining us at Muse Realm Radio. Remember, everyone will tell you how to write your story, but no one will write it for you. So use your words, not theirs.
You're listening to Muse Realm Radio.
Let's get to some news. So, the long-lost tinctress, the princess of the clockmaker and makeress, has returned after more than a chapter. Our muse has been missing for a time and has returned to her post as our dear head librarian, dear tinctress. Welcome home.
You're listening to Muse Realm Radio.
So happy you can join us for Muse Realm Radio. Remember, we're all stories after all. Different genres and types, but every story eventually ends. So make sure yours is worth telling, worth remembering.
This is Drumbeat Symphony by J.J. Evangelista. Enjoy. Timothy Myth loved to drum with drumsticks all day long. He'd drum out a solo of any song. But he had no drum, just the sticks and the beat, and the calm dance of his shuffling feet. He had a beat in his head, and the music in his heart. So day to day, drumming was art. He'd drum the street corner and drum Mr. Finley's car. He'd drum little kids, he'd drum near and far. Even in sleep, 'cause hands would beat tunes, tapping and beating the most magical runes. Minute after hour, day after night, Timothy's songs would drown out the light. Then one day he played and he drummed and walked down the street, dancing along to the usual beat. Yet on this day he did something scary. He drummed and he played right into a cemetery. With some disregard he continued to pound, graves rocking to his powerful sound. He drummed on the tombstones with arms flailing wild. He drummed the grave of a small little child. The more Timothy played, the more the ground moved, and the graves and the trees danced and they grooved. Then pop, a hand broke from the dirt. The hand pulled itself out. It was a girl in a skirt. Timothy was fearful, but he just kept on playing, and dead bodies kept rising, moving, saying, "What is your wish? Command us your will." And until Timothy spoke, the army stayed still. His drumming had brought the dead back from the end, and through his playing, only he could, they said. The power of drumming could bring back the dead, and thus Timothy got a foul thought in his head. "Go now, my army! Timothy did speak! Do my bidding and devour the weak!" And as Timothy told, the zombies did obey. Because of the drumming, they were bound to his say. Day turned to night as the drum it did toll for thee. The world faded and ended, all are free. That was all, ever did it end, because of Timothy to oblivion. All did he send. But Drumbeat Symphony for the end of the world, and thus his finger convulsed and curled Timothy Myth, perhaps an angel of death, they say. And he did bring about the last and final day. This is Drumbeat Symphony, my J.J. Evangelista.
We appreciate you being a part of Muse Realm Radio. And please remember, no one's story is ever finished. The next chapter can always be better. So even if this chapter is rough, it may just be the turning point in your hero's journey.
Tired of mundane ink that fades with time? Try Draconodon ink, brewed from rare arcane minerals and distilled moonlight. Perfect for scrolls, spellbooks, and best-selling fantasy novels. Draconodon ink and Quill Emporium, where legends are written.
Glad you can be here with us at Muse Realm Radio. And remember, your story is your story. No one gets to tell you how to write it.
Feeling low on mana. Recharge with Muse Brew Coffee. Roasted in the hidden wing and enchanted for maximum inspiration. One sip and your ideas take flight. Muse Brew Coffee. Brewed for creators.
Glad you can be here with us at Muse Realm Radio. Remember, no story is quite like yours. Tell it your way.
Feeling low on mana? Recharge with Muse Brew Coffee. Roasted in the hidden wing and enchanted for maximum inspiration. One sip, and your ideas take flight. Muse Brew Coffee. Brewed for creators.
This just in. Flamekeeper Ashridon has mysteriously stepped out of Grilling Academy during Flame's ceremonies. No word on where or why, but feral chef Dashrigal has insisted it's nothing to worry about. However, students and grilling professors have voiced concerns. And that concludes today's news.
Rel made a wish, hoping it would be granted. But the wish was a key that opened a portal to another world. Lily lied and said the mirror would grant her wish, any wish. But there was no wish, and Lily left her behind. Our Rel fell into a world unknown, a land of shimmering crimson dust and sand. The world shimmered like diamonds and moved like a fiery ocean wave. 7 shadows appeared, 7 strangers that knew her. They weren't human, faces covered in eye masks. Rail was lost in the world of muses, stranded and forgotten by Lily. In the novel of chefs and fire, she just wanted to go home. Let's go home. Led by the storyteller, leader of the seven, two of the others removed their hoods. Razor and Kitty were their names. They all believed Rel was the one. They were searching for a girl, what they called an ephemeral. They believed Rel was she, but one of them believed she wasn't. It's not her, said Razor. I don't believe it is. It could be, it should be, but how can this weakling be the hero? Rel is too weak, too small, too insignificant to be the ephemeral. Rel fought Razor and failed, beaten, humiliated, overwhelmed. Rel was lost in the world of muses, stranded and forgotten by Lily. In the novel of chefs and fire, she just wanted to go home. Just go home. Rel was stranded in the Muse Realm. These muses were strange, odd, otherworldly beings. They believed she was something called an ephemeral. But one, Razor, was unsure and didn't believe that. Rel was the one they were searching for.
Now, onto a short news break. Muses are concerned as the novel of Rogmill's Resolution Gate blinked to life during the moonrise hours. The Resolution Guardian surfaced for the first time in over 1,000 chapters, and its terrifying roar can still be heard echoing across the dune wastes. What does this rare occurrence mean? Updates as they become available. And that's all for the news. I've got some news, fellow muses. Writers are scrambling in Wyvern Ranch following a street scuffle in the dust. Muses are reporting an artist drew muzzles against a small writer Ruddy on Talent Street. A blacksmith's inkwell must have burst, causing an explosion that left over 30 writer folk injured. The artist and writer are under investigation. And that's all the news.
Life is short, and we only have a finite amount of time to live, to laugh, to dream, to love. Don't waste it. If you have a dream, don't let it die. Even when they say you shouldn't try, 'cause a dream that's meant for you is a vision only you can make true. It's your life, live it fully your way, no matter what the others have to say. They'll whisper, they'll gossip, they'll talk, they'll demand you to walk their walk. Life's too short, so don't waste your time, 'cause a fool is always right. Words dripping with grime, walk away, cut them off, make a choice. They'll never stop trying to silence your voice. They say happy people spread their joy, they won't bring you down, no ploy. Hurt people will force their hurt on you, 'cause hurt people bring down others, it's true. Toxic people won't listen, just speak. They pretend to be strong, but they're weak, they'll yell, put you down, demand you obey. Truth is you don't have to listen to what they say. You'll rarely be criticized by someone doing more than you. It's always the ones doing less who are unhappy with their lives that spread hate and negativity. Cut that out of your life. Save your breath, conserve your energy, and just walk away. You don't need them in your life. Never let anyone bring you down. Life's too short, so don't waste your time, 'cause a fool is always right. Words dripping with grime, walk away, cut them off, make a
choice.
They'll never stop trying to silence your voice. We all die. We live once and it's over. So don't waste time on anyone or anything that doesn't serve or fulfill your life. It's your time, your moment's not
Here's the news for you beautiful muses. Rumors abound about a mysterious flash in the novel of Rognell Sky, just outside the roaring dunes and south of Grilling Academy. Most residents insist that was just a morning flame burst. Nothing out of the ordinary. And that was the news. Today's sponsor is brought to you by Inky Blue Rum. The rum without liquor, spiced with the treacle extract of a blue dragon. Made locally on the Leviathan coast by brewmaster Muses. A recipe passed down through generations, muse to muse, straight into your port of call and into your welcoming tentacles. Inky Blue Rum. Why is it always gone? Let's get to some news. So the long-lost tinctress, the princess of the clockmaker and makeress, has returned after more than a chapter. Our muse has been missing for a time and has returned to her post as our dear head librarian. Dear Tinctress, welcome home. And that's it for today's news. A nowhere scumbag is an unhappy person. No matter how much money or material possessions they have, they either have too much or not enough. Nothing makes them happy, bitter, petty, selfish.
Nowhere scumbags can be rich, nowhere scumbag can be poor. They can have a fancy job or have no work at all. What makes someone a nowhere scumbag? They're unhappy with their lives and they blame everyone else for it, and they never blame themselves. Don't be a nowhere scumbag, angry at the life you chose to live, taking out your rage on others, trying to make them miserable like you. The nowhere scumbag hates themselves, but they push and give advice like they're an expert on life. They talk down, belittle, and demean. They push their views on those around. They never listen to what anyone says. A nowhere scumbag will force their beliefs. A nowhere scumbag will bully to get their say. They believe that they know best. They believe that they are right. They believe everyone else is wrong. They believe that you are the problem. It's okay to have a job or to be jobless. It's okay to be unhappy, rich or poor. But don't put that hurt on anyone else. Don't belittle others, 'cause you're in pain. Don't be a nowhere scumbag, angry at the life you chose to live, taking on your rage on others, trying to make them miserable like you. A nowhere scumbag is always right. They don't listen. They don't care they made mistakes. Their life isn't what they hope it'd be. They're deeply unhappy, so they want everyone else to be as unhappy as they are. Don't be a
Adventures of Rel-Rel, Lost Mirror. Written by J.J. Evangelista. Read by Piper Petrie. Voices provided by Heidi Tabbing as Rel-Rel, Anna Clarkson as Lily, Karen Heyman as Mother, and John Mundelli as Father. Rel-Rel hunched over the sheet of paper, chest pressed firmly against the table, head bent, watching every stroke of her pencil. Scribbling against the empty page of her sketchbook, she curled a sharp edge for an ear, scribbling dots for eyes, and quick wavy slashes for hair.
It's almost perfect,
she thought, drawing in clothes that were too large for the rest of the body, and a rectangle tunic over formless stick legs.
Now for the color.
Rel-Rel was 13, an awkward youth with tan skin, short boy cut black hair, and purple bangs. She wore a purple tank top, which turned yellow around her stomach, and a wrinkled pair of shorts. These were the same clothes she'd worn the day before, and she saw no reason to change. Why would she? Rel-Rel adjusted her purple star pattern socks with one hand, still concentrating on her pad and paper. She hopped off her stool, leaving the pencil rolling across the paper as she scuttled out of the kitchen, past the counter, and into the hallway. She ran past her mother, who was busily heading to the table with a cup of coffee cupped in her hands.
Mija, hurry and finish. We'll be leaving soon.
Rel heard her mother's voice echo down the hallway.
Right, yes, finish, I know.
Rel replied, red sneakers tearing over the warm brown carpet. She kicked open the door to her room, spun to her left, and flung the cabinet open.
Rel, over here now,
called Father from the kitchen.
Breakfast is getting cold.
She cleared away old drawings, pieces of paper, tossed paintbrushes, bottles of ink, and tubes of paint, knocking them to the floor in a hurry.
Getting cold, yes, okay, on my way,
she called back, frantically clearing the area, hands moving quickly to a small yellow lunchbox. Stuffing a wad of paper into her mouth, she chomped down, clutched the lunchbox in one hand, and sprinted out of the room. Bounding through the hall, she leaped into the kitchen and back into her chair. She spit the paper into her lap, plopped the lunchbox onto the table, and flipped it open. Dirty crayons, some broken, hardly any of them unused, were strewn about inside. Her eyes quickly fell on purple.
Ah, here we are.
She began to color in the dress, then tossed the purple into the lunchbox. Rel continued with another red crayon as her mother sipped her coffee, her eyes narrowing at the little girl. Mother was not very tall, slender, dark-eyed, with long curls of shimmering black hair. A finely pressed, pinstriped business suit was buttoned firmly to her petite form. She glanced over at Father and shook her head. Father was a large man, round, with eyes that always looked angry, and a wild bush of black hair and matching eyebrows. Stuffed into a ruffled button-up shirt and some warm blue jeans, Father glanced at the truck schedule to his left one last time. He chewed the rest of his eggs, eyes never turning as Rel added the finishing colors to her artwork. He looked back to Mother, and then to Rel and said, swallowing,
"Put it away."
Okay,
said Rel without looking up, finishing the hair with a green crayon.
Ta-da! Isn't it neato? Check it out!
She held it up for them to see, a triumphant smile on her lips.
With time to spare. You like it? I know it's good, right?
Father sat up without even looking and moved to the sink to wash his plate, while Mother stared at her watch, sipping the last ounce of dark brew in her cup. Rel watched them for a moment, page still in hand, smiling. Maybe they didn't hear her? I mean, how could they deny such artistic expertise? Hopping out of her chair, she waddled up to her father's side, holding the picture up, eyes hopeful, lips full of pride.
Did you see?
A sigh left Father's frown, and he said in a gruff voice, without turning to look at her,
"I said put it away."
Mother ran her fingers over the coffee cup.
Yeah, I will, of course, Papa. See, I gave her red and purple, because this is how I'd look if I were a superhero.
Superhero?
Father's voice lowered into a deep, arrogant chuckle. Mother set her cup down.
Yeah!
Rel replied excitedly.
She has a hood and...
Father's hand came down, tore the paper from her fingers, and crushed it over and over in one hand.
"Enough of this nonsense!"
he shouted, his voice echoing through the whole house. The burst knocked Rel a few steps back. Her eyes watched the paper crinkle into a tight little ball. She dove at his hand.
Raline!
Yelled Father, holding the paper away, eyes searing into his daughter. She instantly fell at attention.
What did I say?
He flung the paper onto the floor.
Do something productive. Stop wasting your time on fantasy nonsense.
He gestured to the bouncing paper.
This is a stupid waste. Don't be such an idiot. Do you hear me?
Rel stood at attention, eyes on the floor, avoiding the rage in her father's eyes. She knew full well not to challenge him when his voice reached this intensity. Her lip trembled, and her eyes squished shut to hold back emotion.
Yes, Papa.
Father stomped out of the kitchen, shoving her aside with the bulk of his forearm. He didn't say anything, vanishing out the kitchen door.
Stupid.
He grunted over his shoulder. Rel stood quietly, slowly moving her eyes to the crumpled wad on the floor. She took a step and listened. When she heard no movement, she cautiously moved to what remained of her drawing and unfolded the page. Rising slowly to her feet, she quietly moved to Mother's side. Rel smoothed the papers as best as she could in her palms and held it up to her mom, smiling, hoping for some kind of reaction, any form of praise, anything. Mother didn't look at it. She stood up, walked right past Rel and put her cup into the sink.
We'll be back later today. Clean up this mess.
Her high heels clicked out of the kitchen. Rel was alone. She sat at the table, paper in hand, slowly lowering it into her lap. Her eyes remained on the doorway. She listened to the rustle of her parents and the slam of the door. Silence. Head low, she clutched the drawing and headed back to her room. She moved to her desk, right in front of the window. It was quiet. It was always quiet in the mornings. She was alone. Mother and Father were at work. Brushing purple bangs from her gently waking green eyes, Rel sat down to a pad of lined paper and a ballpoint pen, purple ink. She made sure her doll, Lily, was resting on her lap and a pair of old worn-out aviator goggles were securely on her head before she began to doodle. Then, to write. Lily was a ragged stuffed doll stitched with blue string. She had button eyes that were already coming undone, pink yarn for hair, and a frilly blue dress that was fading on the edges. Rel had sewn Lily together 2 years ago, when her parents had left her home alone for the weekend. She adjusted the goggles over her eyes and began to write.
The Guardians are off addressing the king again. I'm locked in the prison tower of Humglum with only Lily to keep me company. The walls stink like sulfur and smoke, I think.
Through the eyes of her goggles, Rel noticed the world change. The walls of her room were just as she had imagined on paper. Large, twisted brick walls with a single tiny barred window. She smelt the moist, mildew-ridden floor, felt the cold, stiff breeze on her skin.
Whoa!
She lifted her goggles. There was only her room, with 4 white walls, a plain window, a bed to her left, a desk at her knees, and nothing but an overwhelming quiet. She drew her goggles back down and was once again in the bricked prison cell.
Neato!
She said, loudly.
These make my writing awesome!
Indeed, mistress,
said a quiet, formal voice. Rel jumped, tripping toward the gated doorway.
Oh my good gosh!
Standing near her desk side was a young girl. She stood a bit taller than Rel. She had long, flowing pink locks and a brilliant cerulean dress with a skull pendant on her neck. Her sweet, innocent blue eyes stared back as she curtsied, bowed her head, and said,
Salutations. I live only to serve you, princess. Ask and I will obey.
Lily? You're big.
Rel's eyes darted back and forth.
You're talking to me?
Rel lifted her goggles and saw only the old stuffed doll. Lily did not speak until Rel placed the goggles down and revealed the sweet young lady.
I am, mistress,
said Lily. Butterfly wings in her hair, completely covering her ears, swayed as she spoke. Rel stumbled away, hands raised in a warding off gesture.
Back, foul wretch!
Lily took a gentle step forward, never losing her posture.
Mistress?
Don't mistress me, Buster Brown!
Finger aimed at the doll, Rel rose to her feet, lower lip pulled forward.
I know what you're here for. If the doctor has taught me anything, I'm not going anywhere, no matter how wiggy your police box is.
She wrinkled her nose.
Do you have a police box?
Police box?
Lily tilted her head.
Yeah.
Rel eased her defense, slightly.
You know, time and space.
Time and what, mistress?
She smiled at that fondly.
Relative dimension and space, actually.
If you say so,
said Lily.
Don't change the subject!
Rel plucked a paintbrush from the floor and brandished the bristles.
I will end you.
Stepping forward, reaching out her hand, Lily said politely,
Mistress, if you please.
I said away, foul beast!
Rel hurled the goggles from her eyes and dove onto the bed, rolling into her covers. Cocooned in the blankets, she peeked through a small opening near her pillow, glancing into the room. Glaring at the stuffed doll sitting on her notebook, Rel crawled out of her sheets, scurried on all fours to the foot of her chair, and cautiously peeked her eyes above the top of the desk. The doll didn't move. Rel poked Lily's yarn hair, then quickly ducked out of sight. She waited for the voice.
Come on, change!
She rested her nose on the lip of her desk.
Give me a reason to end both your hearts.
Her eyes shifted from Lily's button eyes to the frill of her dress, searching, waiting for any sign of movement. Nothing. Lily did not stir. Ever vigilant, Rel stood up, backed away, and sat on her bed.
Good. Right. Yes. I like you better this way.
Eyes never leaving those dark buttons, she folded her hands and waited.
Silent. As you should be.
Curling up onto her bed, Rel rested her head on her pillow, still staring at the doll. Her eyes moved to the goggles on the floor, then back to the doll. She wrung her hands, pursed her lips. With a huff, she closed her eyes, murmuring,
Don't want to talk to you anyways. Course not. Why would I?
It's cheap and convenient, 'cause it's close by. But the people, why are the ones that go to Dragon Slop Shop so self-centered and oblivious? People have no sense of place, they stand in the way, blocking the aisle. They put their card in the very middle and reach over, taking all the space. They have no spatial awareness. Social awareness is something they lack. They get in the way, they never move, appearing out of nowhere when you're there. Never go to Dragon Slop Shop, it's not worth it, unless you want to get angry and pissed. The people are rude, inconsiderate, selfish NPCs that run on dickhead autopilot. Oh, look, they found a friend and they decided to chat in the aisle, having a deep, meaningful conversation while they stand and block traffic in both directions. Get out of the way, move, go talk somewhere else. You're blocking the flow, oblivious to everything else. It's like they're on your clock, your time. NPCs that wander out to block your path, moving just to appear and get in your way. A Truman Show moment every day. They come out of nowhere in a hurry and almost hit you with their cart. They have dead, vacant eyes, mouth agape like they're lost and not all there. it's not worth it unless you want to get angry and pissed. The people are rude, inconsiderate, selfish NPCs that run on dickhead autopilot. I am tired of people I need to stop going to Dragon Slop Shop. Because every time I do, I end up dealing with rude, miserable people. Morale of the story. Shop online.
There's a story stuck in my imagination. A world, characters, and scenarios that keep me up at night. It's all written, at least in my head. A story I have to tell before I'm dead. I have a tale to tell, a story that haunts my soul. Ink and paper written in the night, sleepless moments, wasted thoughts. The words are there, but out of reach. I continue to write, to type, to think, to get it all out, bringing life to a world of my dreams. Writing the greatest novel ever told, a story that never lets me rest or sleep. I think about it night and day, and I know I must finish before I die. I've written the words so many times, but they're only in my head. Stuck in my mind, a playlist for all. It's time to get them on the page, no longer ephemeral. The written word, a physical presence born from my soul. It burns within my thoughts every day. A tale, a story that I have to write. I have a story I want to tell, the greatest novel I've ever written. Time is fading, moments are almost gone. I have to finish before my time is done. I write in silence, just for me. In the darkness I type away alone. No one sees me, no one cares, but I will finish, I will, I must. Writing the greatest novel ever told, a story that never lets me rest or sleep. I think about it night and day, and I know I must finish before I die. The story is almost finished. I have songs and scenarios that are ready to write. I daydream and hope that it finally sees the light of day. Time is running out, tick-tock, almost done. Eventually, hopefully, it matters one day.
So on to the news. 7 shadowy figures have been seen wandering the novel of Rognjol's roaring sea after dustfall. Muses assume it's due to sand, stroke, or claw fever from being out in the ashes too long. More as the story develops. And that was today's news. this hall, leading me to my goal. But the hall, this wretched hall, is a scattered, twisted corridor, where hope fades into the shadows and ideas wade into the unknown. I wander into the nothingness, searching and hoping to find the light that will lead me onward. The further I go, the darker the hall becomes. And as I try to move forward, the hall seems to lead nowhere. I fight on, trying to continue, trying to see my way to the end, trying to persevere. If I move ahead 2 steps closer, the hall pulls me back 4 steps away from my dreams. It's hard to move, hard to see. The light that seems so near, so close, now seems further now than ever. I want to give up, to end this futile journey, and go back to where I started. It'd be so easy to fail now, as everything seems darker than before, darker than it ever could be. But I find the strength to go on. It's faint, but it's there. I can't even see the light, not even a speck, but I know it's there, and I must reach it. Through the struggles, through the darkness, it gives me strength, it gives me motivation. And when I feel like I will never reach my goal, the light appears and I see my destiny. I take those last few steps and I struggle into the light, trying not to stop as I reach the door.
I've got a tale that's burning bright, ink and paper take me through the night, in a land where dragons soar so high. Fairies whisper secrets with a sigh, with a pen that dances on the page. I unleash the magic from the cage. Heroes rise and villains take their fall. Dreams and nightmares painted on the wall. Writing the greatest novel ever told, in a world where fantasy unfolds. Muse is singing stories in the breeze, captured in the letters and the keys. Ink-stained fingers chase a wild dream, craft a saga woven in the beam, where the stars and the moon collide. Epic journeys flow like ocean's tide, pages turning faster through the night. Every sentence shines a vibrant light, bringing tales that no one's ever known. Building kingdoms crafted from my own. Writing the greatest novel ever told, in a world where fantasy unfolds. Muse is singing stories in the breeze, captured in the letters and the keys.
Set the mood for magic. Hidden room candles feature notes of the ink sea. Roaring dunes, lullaby snowflakes, and distant alphabets hit her. Hidden room candle co. Light the imagination.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Wyvern Cantina, where drinks are cold, flat, still as a moonrise, and the atmosphere is silent as a library, always a good time. that's Wyvern Cantina. Anytime, moonrise or moonfall.
You're listening to Muse Radio.
In today's news, there's been some commotion at the Drew Conadin Library's main gate. No word from the bookkeeper or our keepress or our young masters Regalin and Timerson, but I will keep you updated as the story develops.
Feeling low on mana? Recharge with Muse Brew Coffee. Roasted in the hidden wing and enchanted for maximum inspiration. One sip, and your ideas take flight. Muse Brew Coffee. Brewed for creators.
Set the mood for magic. Hidden room candles feature notes of the ink sea, roaring dunes, lullaby snowflakes, and distant alphabet cedar. Hidden Room Candle Co. Light the imagination.
She had only been scavenging the floor for a moment when she heard the deep, piercing voice of her father.
Relene, up off the floor!
He said, brushing the grass from her chin.
Daydreaming again?
Father was an intimidating man with small, penetrating eyes.
Back in the house.
As soon as he was gone, Rel lowered her goggles and looked up at the gray brick tower. She entered an open cage and shimmied past the broken machine golem in the middle. She wandered into the garage, past the car, and stood before an old, worn-out fishing pole. She clutched it, holding it above her head triumphantly, screaming,
Yes! I found the Rod of Lost Tears! Now I may use its thread of everlasting...
What did I tell you?
Said Father, standing at the garage door.
Oops,
Said Rel, taking off her goggles.
Get over here.
I will, but first I have to...
Here!
Rel cringed at the boom of her father's voice, slinking to his side, eyes on the floor.
Right.
Inside!
He ordered, pointing his finger into the garage door.
Don't give me that look.
He followed her into the kitchen, guided her to a bag of rice, and gestured for her to sit.
There! Right there! Now what did I say earlier? Sit here and think about it. No more of these foolish games. Not right now.
Father carried a wad of papers, shaking his head.
Not now.
Rel lowered her goggles, staring at the inside of the prison. Lily appeared, sitting to her left, legs crossed on the floor.
Oh, my princess, I am sorry. What do you plan to do?
He sealed the forward gate.
Rel said grimly. Through the lens of her goggles, she glanced at the front door. It appeared as prison bars, and the rice she was sitting on turned out to be a stone slab. Rel was shackled by invisible chains.
Unless I find the key, there's no hope of recovering the mirror. It's hopeless.
It would be, mistress,
said Lily, triumphantly.
Good thing I managed to swipe this from his person.
Drawing a hand from the side of her skirt, Lily revealed a small silver key.
Oh, Lily, I knew I could count on you!
Cried Rel as Lily undid the chains. Metal clinked to the floor, fading into rings of black smoke. Rel bounced to her feet and clutched the Rod of Lost Tears.
What about the gate? Not even a ring of heroes could burn through this.
There, mistress,
said Lily.
A hole in the side wall,
said Rel, staring at a large crack in the prison, just left of the main gate.
Will we fit?
Asked Lily.
We must,
said Rel valiantly. Mother stood in the front yard, just beyond the hedges, talking on her cell phone.
I know, yes. We will have the money, just a little more time.
She paused. Mother watched the front window as Rel clambered out, got stuck, and dropped through the opening, dragging a doll behind her in the grass.
I'll have to call you back. I can't talk. Yes, I know. Well, my daughter... Yes, I understand.
Rel dashed into the blue tree thing forest, Lily following quickly behind.
What about Jaru?
Said Lily, trying to keep up.
What's a Jabba?
Said Rel, breaking past the trees and seeing the emerald glow of the lake. Lily repeated,
Jaru, the guardian of Jarut Jarut Lake. He's ferocious, monstrous, with teeth like night lances. That, and he's not very polite.
Rel stumbled to the edge of the lake, lifted the goggles from her eyes, and looked down into the water. A fish, 2 inches long, with silver fins and dark eyes, swam in small circles in the shallows. She grinned.
Ooh, that is scary.
And placed the goggles down. Once the purple lenses lowered over her eyes, she saw Jarut Jarut as it really was. A gigantic fish that towered over the surface of the water. It had glowing yellow eyes, spikes rising from its back, and a mouth like that of a great white shark. Jarut Jarut tore through the water, creating surges of white hair and crazed circles around the lost mirror.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Rel stuttered.
How am I supposed to get the mirror with that thing in the water?
Rel! Rel, get over here, now!
Came a voice in the distance.
Where are you? Miha, answer me. Where could she be? I saw her run this way.
Lily flicked her eyes into the trees.
It's your guardians?
Oh no, not now! I haven't even got the mirror yet!
Rel splashed into the lake frantically.
You best hurry, Princess.
I know! Okay!
Rel dove into the water, running on top of the massive fish.
He's slippery!
She clutched Jarut Jarut's highest fin with one hand, grasping it firmly, while she held the fishing pole with the other, trying not to get thrown off.
Fly now, rod of tears!
As she cast, Jarut Jarut thundered through the water, trying to shake the little girl from its head. Rel was jerked about, to and fro, still holding onto the rod.
I got it!
The hook snagged upon the lost mirror, picking it up from the mud.
Reel it in, mistress!
Cried Lily from the shore.
I'm trying to!
Rel's other hand was locked to Jarut Jarut's head fin.
Let go!
Came Lily's voice.
Are you nuts?
Cried Rel.
Reline! Reline!
Came the voice of her parents.
Oh goodness, there she is.
Said her mother to father from the other side of the lake, just beyond the large oak that led into town. They saw her with an old beaten rod over a terrified silver fish.
You must do it now, mistress!
Father marched through the bushes.
Reline, here! Don't make me come over there!
Mistress!
I know!
Rel let go, spinning, trying not to lose hold of the rod. Bubbles, a fish surging upon her, its mouth wide, teeth, so many teeth. She turned the reel, tugged up, hands spinning desperately. Jarut Jarut was upon her. The rod bent, the line tugged violently, ringing, like a ribbon of silver light, gathering into the handle of the rod. Rel pulled as Jarut Jarut leaped from the water.
I almost have it!
Rel, enough!
Father yanked her backwards. The mirror was flung into the air, carried at the end of the fishing line, landing on the muddy shore. It squished to a sloppy stop right at Mother's feet. Rel, coated in mud, soaking wet, hair smeared across her cheeks, clothes ruffled and sticking to her body, trudged up to Mother and smiled.
Look, I found it! Aren't you proud of me?
She pulled the goggles onto her forehead. Mother eyed the mirror, shaking her head at the messy little girl.
You're such a hassle, Miha. I don't have time for your games, I really don't.
Tell me you're proud of me,
said Rel.
Get on home,
came Father's gruff voice.
Get on home, now.
Mother thrust the compact into Rel's hand.
Now.
Mother and Father wandered back up the hill together. They exchanged glances, saying something Rel couldn't hear. She opened the compact, staring into the grimy, dingy reflection of herself. Lily eyed her curiously.
What will you wish for, mistress?
She sighed through her nose, tears masked by purple bangs, droplets of lake water on her cheeks.
I wish for attention.
Stuck in my imagination, a world, characters and scenarios that keep me up at night. It's all written, at least in my head, a story I have to tell before I'm dead. I have a tale to tell, a story that haunts my soul, ink and paper written in the night, sleepless moments, wasted thoughts. The words words are there, but out of reach. I continue to write, to type, to think, to get it all out, bringing life to a world of my dreams. Writing the greatest novel ever told, a story that never lets me rest or sleep. I think about it night and day, and I know I must finish before I die. I've written the words so many times, but they're only in my head. Stuck in my mind, a playlist for all. It's time to get them on the page, no longer ephemeral. The written word, a physical presence born from my soul. It burns within my thoughts every day, a tale, a story that I have to write. I have a story I want to tell, the greatest novel I've ever written. Time is fading, moments are almost gone.
I have to finish before my time is done.
I write in silence,
just for me.
In the darkness I type away alone. No one sees me, no one cares, but I will finish, I will, I must. Writing the greatest novel ever told, a story that never lets me rest or sleep. I think about it night and day, and I know I must finish before I die. The story is almost finished. I have songs and scenarios that are ready to write. I daydream and hope that it finally sees the light of day. Time is running out, tick-tock, almost done. Eventually, hopefully, it matters one day.
They see you even in the dark. They fly through the night, listening to your heart's desire. No emotions or feelings, empty eyes devoid of light. Aliens that wander the galaxy, reapers of time and space.
They are the dolls of Ipolak, a planet in the darkest of space. They are the dolls that lack nightmares that obliterate, eviscerate, terminate.
The mystery professor's greatest enemy, creatures from the planet scary, oh, a world of night and despair, where galaxies go to perish
and the light fades to black.
They destroyed the professor's people, obliterated the planet Malivray, eviscerated the moment monarchs, terminated them all in the moment war. On the edge of space, quiet and alone, into the endless abyss they feed.